Hi friends, welcome back to Acting Like an Actor. I'm your host, Sophie Jordan Collins, and this week we have actor, model, poet, and producer Eric Guilmette. Eric is known for his work on shows like You Belong With Me, I'm the Rule, Devil's Triangle, and so many more with such amazing names. He's also starred in films such as Tales of Christmas, The Black Box, and more. We talk about his journey from going the traditional college route to then essentially being a digital nomad traveling the world with a fitness business, into somehow ending up in LA as a model and actor. He tells us his worst audition story, how he produced and starred in a series coming out soon called Love and Blood, and the importance of having a business mindset as an actor and how you can have one too. If you're a fan of his, we answer some fun questions and talk about his projects. And if you're just an actor or creative, I think you'll get a ton of value from this episode about really building a career as a creative and trusting the process of the journey. Let's go.
Are you rich?
Are you famous?
What have you been on?
I don't really recognize you, and neither does my mom.
Can you laugh?
Can you cry on command?
I mean, you said you were an actor, man.
What's your backup plan? Is it shattered?
Dude, I'm just acting like an actor.
All right, you ready?
As ready as I'm gonna be.
All right.
No idea what I'm walking into.
So I did email you the questions, so you should have like perfect answers prepared.
Okay.
No pressure or anything.
We'll think of that in our heads that there should be perfect answers, and they're gonna be far from it.
All right, Eric. So the question we always start with on acting like an actor is, what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
You like to start with the hard ones. So the best piece of advice that I can think of would be, I had a mentor tell me this like 4 or 5 years ago, and he said, let's say you got arrested tonight and you were in LA County lockup. Do you have one person at 3 a.m. that you can call and you know without a doubt they're going to come and post your bail? And I was like, yes. And he was like, then you're doing great in life. He was like, if you have 2 people, you're rich. So I've kept that to heart. I have 2 people that I know without a doubt, no matter what, I can call them anytime and they will come, no matter how much my bail is, unless it's excessive, they will get me out of there. And that's one of those things that, if you really think of it, if you have people in your life that are friends like that, that are almost family to that degree, you're doing great in life, you're rich.
Yeah. Do you feel comfortable sharing those 2 people or no?
You probably know one of them, but the other person, it's just my 2 best friends.
Okay.
So, yeah. And if you look between the lines hard enough, you can figure out who my 2 best friends are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I'm going to swap the order a little bit on you. I would love, just for a little icebreaker, if we can do some of the fun questions from your fangirlies.
Okay,
If
the
cool.
fandom has spoken.
So Eric does a lot of verticals and also some social media stuff, and a couple of you girlies DM'd me some questions on Instagram that were kind of fun.
Oh no.
So the first one is actually, what's your morning routine?
My morning routine. Do we have routines in our life? I was gonna say, I don't know if as vertical actors if we have a whole lot of routine. My morning routine, I guess the first thing I think of is I wake up, and within the first 10 minutes of getting up, I'll have my morning green supplement and any supplements that I'm taking or medication. I'll do that.
AG1?
Yes, AG1, right? No, I've been taking a green supplement for like 10 years. You know, I used to be a bodybuilder, and so I got into very like healthy habits from that sense, but that's probably my most morning routine thing. And then brush my teeth, go do my day.
Yeah.
So, yeah, nothing exciting.
Yeah.
Nothing sexy in there at all.
Fair enough. I agree with you though. Like, anytime anybody asks me anything about a routine, I'm like, I have no semblance of routine these days because we work nights, we work days, the time varies every day. I'm like,
We're here. We're in New York.
Yeah,
I just was in Turkey. You know, we're never in one place. So like our most morning routine is waking up and probably being tired.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Like that's kind of our morning routine.
Yeah, I like the supplement thing though, because you can bring that with you everywhere. I feel like having little things that you can do with you everywhere is always good to have.
It
little
is, yeah,
self-care things.
for sure.
How do you cry on camera? Like, what's your method?
My method of crying on camera. If prepared, I could do this right now. But I was like,
Give me a
should I do this right now? No, I'm not gonna do this right now. I mean, there's so many ways you can cry on camera. You can do it from like physiological things that you do to make yourself cry. There is sometimes that I need to go very deep into my emotional bank. I filmed a vertical series for Dreamy Short. They changed the title, so I'm not going to actually talk about what the title is because it still irritates me a little bit. But there was a scene there where I was like, I'm doing this as a oneer. I literally said to everyone on set, I was like, I'm doing this one time. We're going to set everything up because I was not going to do it twice. Because if we did it twice, it would have been acting at that point. It would have been not raw. And, I was just trigger warning. I was doing a suicide scene that I was like filming a suicide video.
For the vertical?
For a vertical. But I really wanted to like take on the challenge of what that scene was because it was a good scene. And, I did, and I did it once, and I emotionally broke down in the scene, it's hard to watch, but it's also one of those things that it's like, that was real. And so, if I need to go to that level, I know where to go to in my mind, but for just a simple cry, a simple teary eye, you can just use physiological things half the time,
Yeah, no, I love that. And I agree, it varies like role by role, what you're doing, et cetera, because for certain things, you can just force yourself to do it, and other times you want to get in that headspace.
Yeah, I mean, the women in the space have to cry a lot more than the men do, but I also have had to cry a substantial amount that I can do it.
I feel like you more so than the other guys. From what I don't know, as I was like watching you, I was like, I feel like Homeboy cries a lot for these verticals. They just got
They're just like, he's sappy. We're gonna make him sap on camera. So yeah, done it a couple times.
And okay, another question that I got a lot of DMs to ask you is, are you dating anyone right now?
Do you not know?
Should I know?
Well, yeah, when you are married by the moon goddess and you have a Luna, that is your partner for life. So
he's a lot of why.
Yeah. Being real, as much of my life that is public, I've been acting and modeling for over 5 years. The more I've really valued my privacy, and the deeper you get into it, and so I would say the things that are most private to me are the things that I value the most, and that's what I'll say on it. I'll say that my heart is happy.
That's beautiful. Would you date a fan?
Oh God. I mean, I've dated people that watch zero of my things, and I've dated people that watch everything I do. So define, I don't know, do with that what you will.
Right,
yeah. I mean, yeah, that's these, you said they were supposed to be easy questions. I'm like, these aren't easy.
These are fun little questions.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all for the fan ones that I thought were
the fans. Y'all came for me. You were like, we're gonna make him sweat in his chair.
They did. I would love, Eric, for you to kind of take me to the beginning. How did you fall into the world of acting and modeling? Where are you from originally? All of that stuff.
So I'm originally from Massachusetts. I'll make this, it's a long story, so I'm going to make it as short as I can. I'm originally from Massachusetts. I went to school for mathematics and economics. That's actually where I met Jeff, who you know, Jeff Violet. He was my college roommate over 12 years ago. And was supposed to go work in finance, and just kind of went the other way with it. I was like,
wow.
Yeah, I didn't love money enough to work in money. And I became a little obsessive about my time when I was building towards that career. But anyways, it then took me around the world. I left, moved to Australia, built my own online fitness coaching business. I started bodybuilding to a degree professionally as well, and then started fitness coaching, backpacked around for a couple years, and then about 5.5 years ago, I found my way here to Southern California. And I did not move here to be an actor. I did not move here to be a model. I had just gotten out of a 4.5 year relationship, and it was very fresh. I didn't really know what to do, and so I just drove down I-5, found my way in Long Beach. I've lived in the same place for 5.5 years, which is insane. And it was like my second or third day here, I got booked for a modeling shoot. Someone reached out to me on Instagram and was like, hey, I'd love to photograph you for fashion. I was like, fashion? And then, I did really well, and he was like, you should sign up for a few casting sites and start submitting these. And then I did, and then 4 days after that, I booked a a shirt campaign, which at the time it paid like $1,200, but at the time that was a lot of money, and so I did it. I did really well, and I was like, I'm gonna make a career out of this. And then
money.
Right, and then I was like, this is way more fun than like working behind a desk or anything like that, and that's usually the part of the story that I say the rest is history. But then modeling flowed. I got into book cover modeling. I started getting agents all over Los Angeles, New York, Miami, literally everywhere. And then started taking acting classes during the pandemic. And I sucked at first. Like, think of the worst actor, that was me. And I was actually told in one of my very early acting classes that I was horrible. But it actually helped me. I'm from the Northeast, right? And after my hockey games, I played hockey growing up, I would hear the things that I didn't do right during the game. And so, which was helpful to me. It's constructive criticism. And so anyways, someone telling me at that time when I was modeling you always hear, oh, you're so sexy, you're so this, you're that, right? Which I appreciate those things too, but I needed someone to be honest with me. And so someone telling me I sucked at acting really made me push for it and really made me grow and learn about myself in order to be a better actor. And then acting really took over, and for the last 2 years I feel like I have not walked off a set. Like, I've been on a set for 2 years straight, which is the greatest accomplishment I could have.
Yeah. If you look at his IMDb, it does look like that. It's like 2024. I'm like, how did you even have time to do all these projects for the last years? But one of my favorite things about this podcast is just like, you meet people and you just have no idea how they've gotten to where they are. You know what I mean? I had no idea about the Australia and the fitness stuff, and that's so interesting too. And I think too, acting is such a beautiful thing because life experience makes you a better actor. And so often I hear people that are like upset because they didn't start younger or whatever, and I'm like, I feel like all of that life experience really adds to your toolbox, even though you weren't even thinking about acting all that time. I'm sure that has shaped you into the person and the actor you are today.
It does, yeah. I mean, I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all approach. Some people, they grew up at age 5, and I don't know how it was for you, but some people, they know that they want to be an actor immediately. And then some people, I've lived like multiple lifetimes, I feel like, in my journey of getting to where I am now, and all of them helped me. Yeah. And one of the things, I actually had a meeting the other day with a casting director, and we were just talking about, we didn't even talk about work, we just talked about life to a degree, but we're talking about how, making it now as an actor, unless you're part of that 0.1% that is, the next Timothy Chalamet type of thing, you need to be really business savvy. You need to have a good business sense. And so I'm so grateful for everything I've lived up to this point, because I'm really good at the business aspect of it. And, and that's paired well with being a good actor. In some moments I can be great, but for the most part, I know I'm not Leonardo DiCaprio, but I'm a good actor, and I have moments and characters that I can be great in. And pairing that with good business sense has gotten me to where I am now, and we'll see where it takes me moving forward.
Yeah. I think that's so important because so many actors lack that business mindset, and you can be the best actor in the world, but if nobody knows it, then nobody knows it.
I've worked with some people that I'm like, you are incredible. Like,
yeah.
I can give like a few shout outs, like, like Felix, do you know Felix Merbeck? Mm-hmm. One of the most talented actors, and I've worked with, and he's great business sense too. I'm not giving any knocks to any of the people that I mentioned, but like, incredible actor. Tyler Morrow, I'm not sure if you know him, incredible actor. And I'm like, holy, and I just look up at them and I'm like, you guys are insane. Like, actors, like, you're gonna make it, and I love being able to see that. But then I've also met other actors that are just as talented as them, because they're also doing really big things. Yeah. I met other actors that are just as talented as them, but they have no business sense. And I'm like, you're almost too far creative that you need someone to rein this in for you to be able to help with it. But yeah, if people ask me who my favorite actors are from the space, and I'm like, Felix and Tyler are the first 2 people I name because they're the most talented people. And I've only worked with Tyler twice. I've worked with Felix on a pilot, not even on a vertical. We met on a pilot, a couple years ago.
This industry is so full circle. That's what's funny about this vertical space too, is we're meeting so many cool new people, but it's also like people we knew before this, and now we're on this space. Like Kira, for example, I knew her right when she moved to LA. We did a commercial together.
Oh, really?
It's so funny, like, seeing her in this vertical space and various people. It's so interesting.
What was the commercial?
It was a video game commercial.
That tracks.
Yeah, do you know the video game commercials I'm talking about? The like ROK,
yes,
cringy ones.
Yes, the ones that the ads pop up like on verticals.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly, I know exactly what it is.
One of those.
It's like Royal Kings or something, or Royal Kingdom. Yeah.
Crazy dialogue. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I think too, like the verticals, they're so written so interesting that especially if somebody's acting, I feel like sticks out to me on a vertical where I'm like, oh, you're doing so grounded and doing so well in this space. Like, I wonder what you could do in a different space, you know?
Like, and I don't want to talk poorly about the space, but it's hard to tell how good or bad of an actor is in this space because the material isn't always the most grounded thing. Like, it's always the highs and lows, and the nuances that you get as an actor is being able to be grounded in a character. It's not, like, oh my god, I love you, and oh my god, I'm going to kill you, and I slapped you, and all these things. So it's very hard to sense that. But when you can see these moments of people being great in the vertical space, you're like, oh yeah, like you would crush something shot this way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing for sure. Well, I would love for you to just talk to me about how you booked your first vertical and how you fell into that world, essentially.
Welcome to the vertical world. So, that was funny. Kira was actually on my first vertical.
Oh, no kidding!
She had like I guess she was like my secretary or something like that. It was a werewolf one.
Was it with Ashley?
No, that was my second one. I did my first one August 2023.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was way back.
Yeah, way back.
It feels like so long ago, but it's only a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that. We figured it out. Well, she knew because she has a better memory than I do. Young mind, old mind. But she was like my secretary in a vertical, and I actually did a proof of concept vertical shoot in July of 2023.
Oh.
And it never got picked up. We shot like a couple scenes. And then it never got picked up, but then I got asked to do one, it was called, they changed the title, but it was originally called Forever and Always, and then, of course, they changed the title to something stupid, and it was something that I did it, and I was like, I don't really know what this is, I don't know how I feel about this, but it's fun, because I'm acting, and I was playing a werewolf. Little did I know I was going to do 9 more werewolf roles after that.
I'm a token werewolf guy, for sure.
It's I still don't know how I feel about it, but either way, it is what it is. And I'm thankful for everything that it's brought me. But then after that, I did one with Ashley in January. I took like the rest of the year and I shot a feature film actually with Christine Larson. Do you know her?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Christine from this space, me and her shot a feature film with. Do you know Fabian Arnold as well?
Yeah, he was on the pod.
He's been on?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what up, Fabian? We shot a feature film together, and so I knew both of them before the vertical space,
so interesting.
And I shot that for the rest of 2023, and the pilot with Felix, and all these other things.
So cool. So you've been doing stuff intermittently, even amidst the vertical somehow. Yeah,
somehow. I don't know. And then, but January of last year was when it really all took off for me, because I shot the one with Ashley. It did really well. It was a great experience, and then, the rest is a big blur.
Mm-hmm. And somehow it's February the next year.
Yeah, I know. And somehow it's been 13 months since then, and I don't even know what has happened. But yeah, it's been something I'm so thankful for, and we'll see where it goes moving forward.
Yeah. Can you talk to us a little bit about Love and Blood, the vertical series that you produced and starred in that you guys shot in December?
I can. What has Noemi told you? No, So, did she tell you how it kind of came to be?
She did, but they don't know.
Okay, well, I would love to tell that story because you just never know where something leads. And me and Noemi were shooting a werewolf series. She was my co-star. I swear to God, I work in other things that aren't werewolves, but when I just talk about it, it sounds like that's all I do. And her and I had such good vibes on set, and we had good connection, and she came to me and she was like, hey, I have this pitch deck that I've been developing with my partner Kevin, and I want to put you on the pitch deck as the male lead. Like, are you down with that? And I was like, cool, sounds great. And so she put me on the pitch deck. She told me about it. It was vampires and a storyline that they hadn't really fully written or told yet, right? And I was down in Mexico, like right after that project, shooting my first series in Mexico with Purple Light Pictures, which is a production company that's run by Dimitri and his partner Tali. And Dimitri and Tali have become family to me. I've worked with them so much. I'm about to go work with them again after this.
In Mexico?
In Mexico. It'll be like my fifth time? I don't even know. Yeah, I'm almost a Mexican resident at this point. And anyways, I had shot my first project with them down there, and the quality was so good, and the way that they run the set was so good, and just my trust for them was like, you know when you can just trust people in the space and you just know it. It was so great, and so then I said to Dimitri, I was like, hey, would you guys ever do like a vampire series? And he was like, I mean, sure, maybe. And then we set up a meeting and, introduced him to Noemi and myself, and we talked about it, and then we started building this vampire series out. But again, it's still a long shot away from, can we actually produce this? Like, it's still in the idea stage, and, so we start putting it together and we start casting it, and, we cast Kira Wisely, Mariah Moss, Mark Ponarelli, Noemi, and myself. And, so there's the 5 of us. And then we still didn't have a story. We just had vampires and vertical.
Okay.
That was all we had. Like, literally, that's the bare bones. And we said, okay, well, we need to get funding for this, because we knew we wanted to shoot it independently. We didn't want to have a platform attached, because we wanted creative control. And so then, like, it happened so fast. Someone who I'm very close with, him and his partner funded the project, which, like, to make that happen so quickly was insane. And so we had Vert Giving, right? Yeah. And so we're at Vert. This is like, I'm going to tell the story and make sure I tell it in chronological order. It was like, Vert Giving was on November 4th. I think it was November 1st, and, me and Noemi knew who we selected as the cast, and it was a long decision process to figure out who we were going to pick. Yeah. And Noemi texted me, she's like, hey, I'm on set right now filming, and Kira is shadowing the director, like, and I was like, talk to her, tell her about the series, because we hadn't told anyone who we cast, we just had it in our heads. So then she talks to her. And then flash forward like 2 days, and I'm at Kiki, Kyle Fragnoli's house. We're making the first turkey for Vert Giving, and we're watching football. It's like 1 PM, and he goes, dude, is it alright if Mariah Moss comes over in a little bit? She just landed from New York. She's going to be staying here. And I was like, dude, I need to talk to her. And he was like, what? And I was like, and I told him about what we were doing, and he was like, oh, that's crazy. And so she comes over, and then, the first, like, hour and a half, I'm just getting a vibe of who she is, and I was like, oh, yeah, like, this girl definitely has to be in it. And then Mark I had already worked with, and so I just called Mark, because I knew he was going to be coming late to Vert Giving, and I was like, hey, like, this is the deal. When you get there, we'll talk about more specifics. So then we all converged, and then we're all at Vert Giving, and when we're all there, I actually got the email that all of our funding had been approved, and we were greenlit to start production, like, 2.5 weeks later. Or 3.5, I don't remember timeline, 3.5 weeks later. Yeah. And it was like, it was crazy. Like, we literally just did this. So we're like in a corner celebrating at Vert Giving, being quiet about it.
Yeah, of course.
And we just didn't know, and it was insane. And it's just such a great group of talented, amazing humans, and I love each of them so much. And this project, it's now become a vampire series that I think it will absolutely change the vertical game, and I'm so excited for it to come about. I mean, we're only 7 weeks into post-production, so we still have a little bit of a ways to go, but I'm excited. And the storyline is Dimitri and Tali were the ones who wrote it and developed it, and it's, I guess the log line of it is Sophia, who is Noemi's character, is looking for her missing twin and kind of gets catapulted into the world of vampires. Yeah, so it's exciting.
Yeah, so cool. I know Noemi was telling me too, the script is different than anything we've seen before in terms of verticals, which is also exciting. Maybe like a fresh series coming, but
it's just not like a typical. It's not a one-off. It's an ongoing series, and we have plans for the ongoing and spin-offs.
Cool.
which is like, has that been done in this space before? No. And so we're really excited for what it's going to do, not just for the 5 of us, like for everyone, because the way that we move the space forward is that, you know. So I'm excited for what it will be once it actually comes out. And I know that everyone's, oh my god, the amount of messages that we get from people that are just like, when's it coming?
Yeah.
I'm like, please be patient.
Yeah, you guys have also been super smart with your marketing and things like that too, which is so exciting. And it sounds like everything worked out in divine timing, so I'm sure, like, just everything working out coincidentally like that, it's not, you know, not by accident, so, you know, that's exciting.
It's nice to, when that happens, you know, I think everything really does happen for a reason, and, you know, that's definitely proof of this.
Can you talk to me about the Christmas movie you did, The Tales of Christmas or whatever?
Yeah.
Super cute. Was that a Hallmark or what was it?
It was Great American Family, which is pretty much like Hallmark. They do 20 Christmas movies a year, and so I went to Great American Family, and then after that I went to Amazon Prime, and that was a really cute movie.
When did you shoot that in the midst of these verticals?
May.
May of last year, so you did it in the middle of the verticals.
Yeah,
okay.
I literally wrapped, so I was shooting Chosen by Fate, which was with Neela. Do you know Neela?
Mm-hmm.
She's awesome, and her and I were shooting that for Pocket FM, which is like one of my favorite productions that we've done, and the quality is incredible. Like, they put so much money into the budget, and it's obvious. And so we shot that. I literally wrapped at like midnight. I got on a plane at 5 a.m., flew to Utah, and I shot all of the Christmas movie for the next like 17 days in Utah. And that was a really great experience. I mean, it was something that was so different. It was so lighthearted. It was so much more grounded. It was still Christmassy. So like, you know, my character was a wounded war veteran, and he was discharged, and so I wanted to build him out to have these traumas, but also it's a Christmas movie, and I was reminded of that very quickly on set, and it was a good reminder not to like premeditate my decisions as an actor. But that was such an awesome experience, and I'll film a Christmas movie any day because it was just so happy.
Yeah, I feel like that's an actor bucket list item, is to do like a Christmas, like Hallmark, whatever.
Already checked it off.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, you have a little bit of a social media following. I'm curious, did that come from Verticals, or was that already a thing before Verticals? Was that from your fitness? How did all of that happen, and how has that helped your acting career, if at all?
So most of my social media following came from my modeling career. Before really acting. But I would say there's like 25 to 40% of it, somewhere in that range, that came from acting, Verticals, all of that stuff. And it of course helps me a lot, because at the end of the day, this is all a bottom line industry. We want to make money, and any producer, any casting director, they say, oh, he has X amount of guaranteed viewers that are going to watch this, like, great. One of the coolest things that has come from my social media following that like has really surprised me has been like the connections, like the people in the space, the love that I've gotten from quote unquote fans, you know, like people who just are able to connect with me. And that's one thing I love about social media. Like, social media is whatever you want to make it. It can be as detrimental or it can be as helpful as you want it to be. And for me, like, there's so many people that I'm now connected to that just care about me, and I'm sure the same way for you and other people that are in the space. They just want us to be successful and happy and feel appreciated and valued. And for all those people, I'm so grateful, because like they will literally report accounts that are pretending to be me, and I'm not even exaggerating. Every day, 5 accounts guaranteed that are fake accounts of people trying to impersonate me. And they'll report them, they'll like put out bulletins for it. I'm like, and I have these people that are like just helping me out of the goodness of their heart because they just care about me. Like, that's so cool. And to then hear their stories, because, you know, I'm an actor and a model, but I'm also a poet. And like, to hear how like my words might help them, and like, it's just, I love social media for the connection that it's helped all of us. So, you know, no matter what the number of someone's following is, like, if you have a community of people that I can say, like, I do, that just care about you, and you're all just in the common goal of just good vibes and helping each other, like, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, I love that. I don't have any questions about the poetry thing, but now that you say that, you are a poet. I'm curious, has that been like a lifelong thing or what? Now, how did you start doing that?
Well, you mean
Poetry.
I went to school for mathematics. Of course I was going to be a
Obviously.
poet. Obviously, that was the next choice.
Yeah.
No, I dated a girl 5 years ago, and one of the things that we connected over was poetry. And
Like reading it or writing it for each other?
reading it,
Okay.
and then that developed into writing it.
Yeah.
And it sounds a little bit like a rom-com movie, but it kind of like it was. And it's a girl who turned me into a poet, and so then I just started writing, finding ways to make sense of things, and it really helped me. And now I've written a complete book. I have a full book that is sitting with a few publishers right now, so crossing fingers and toes. And I'm even writing a second book as we speak, and it's just something that I started doing for myself. I think when you start anything, you need to have hard reasons of why you're doing them, and my reason was it just helps me deal with things, no matter if that's loss or if that's trying to explain love or just trying to understand what's going on in the world. And I started writing for those reasons, and those are still the reasons that I write, but now I get the benefit of being able to share it and let other people draw from my words too. So it's something that I think we all could use a little poetry sometimes. We all could use a little reminder for certain things, especially when just life gets stressful, and you lose touch of what's important.
Yeah. Someone make a vertical on that.
Yes, I will be a poet in a vertical one day.
What is the most challenging character you've ever played, and how do you feel it has changed you as a human being?
First one that comes to mind is Caleb Hale from Tales of Christmas, and I'll explain why. I have two people that came to mind, so I'll say both. That one was challenging because, Caleb Hale, not to give away spoilers from the movie, but he gets discharged from the army, and he served for 9 years, and then he, hurt his leg, and so then he starts helping out one of his buddies at a church, and just helping around the church, and then he starts volunteering at an animal shelter for free, and starts helping the animal shelter, and starts saving the animal shelter from going under, and he was just such an incredible person that it wasn't challenging for me to play him. It was challenging for the first reason that I told you, which was like I wanted to make him have traumatic experiences, and I was reminded it was a Christmas movie. And I was like, remember tone. Tone is important.
Yeah. Too many verticals. My
Right.
guy's being a little over dramatic.
Yeah, and but the second reason was that it just was like one of those reminders to myself. I was like, not everything needs to be about business. I think it's hard for us to sit with that when we're constantly faced with business decisions every single day. And this person was such a great person just because they were. And so from the sense of playing it, it was just hard for me to like wrap my head around how good of a guy this guy was and how I could be better as a human being. And so that was like a nice friendly reminder. Challenging, but in a different type of way. Then I just actually played... in a vertical, I played an antagonistic protagonist. So it was the show, it was originally called Adopting Her Past. Great title. And they changed it to I Adopted My Stolen Baby. Horrible title, if I'm being honest. But and that was with Alexa. Do you know Alexa Reddy? Yeah. And my character, his name was Michael Thompson, and he had been abandoned by his mother. And so we had like a deep dislike for mothers that abandon their children. And
Don't we all?
right, yeah, and that was what made him more of an antagonistic character. But it was a challenge for me to find a way to play that within the vertical format and still be a protagonist in the story. And he learns through the story that there are reasons why a mother might have to give up their child, and it really does have a full circleness to it. But it was a challenge for me to play because I usually play hero, alpha, billionaire guy that gets the girl every single time, and so it was a good challenge because it was just like, oh, I get to act,
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say those two are the first ones that came to my mind.
Do you have a crazy audition or set story that comes to mind?
This is a good one. All right, so I moved here October 2019.
And you just
And
beat COVID.
I beat COVID. Honestly, I was here for the perfect amount of time before COVID started to be able to build a career for myself and continue the career during COVID.
Yeah.
So I started modeling, like I told you, like almost immediately once I got out here. Built some sort of like movement for myself, and then I'm sure you've used Backstage before. So I was on Backstage.
Sponsor the podcast.
Yeah, sponsor us. Sponsor
No,
her.
they do.
Oh, they really?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that was a shameless plug. That was not planned.
That's what that was.
Backstage.com. Advice for aspiring actors and models.
Mm-hmm.
Go on, submit to some castings, see what happens. But anyways, so I went on there and with no acting experience, whatever. I'd never taken an acting class. I didn't even know the world of acting at all. I somehow got an in-person audition for, it was for a pilot for a TV series that I think was for, I want to say it was Discovery, but that sounds wrong because they don't do a lot of scripted stuff, I don't think. But either way, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. But it was a pilot for a TV series, so whatever it was, it was. And so I go to it, and I'm terrified. And I'm a pretty confident human being. Like, I can walk into any country for the most part, and I'll figure it out. I'll figure out how to get around, how to communicate, whatever. And I was terrified, though. And I get in there, and I'm in the waiting room, and I have my script. It was only like 5 lines, but I have it sitting with me, and I finally got the nerves to go away. And then I get brought into the casting room. And there's this table, traditional style, pre-COVID, where there was like 8 people sitting at the table. There's casting director, producers, a bunch of people that I have no idea who they are, but they're clearly attached to the project. And, they had me read with one of the producers at the table, and I do the read of the scene, and the director is like, all right, can you do it this way? He gives me notes, I do it back, and then they're like, oh, that was great. They had me do it one more time, so I read 3 times. And then at the table, they start asking me questions. They're like, where are you from? What's your availability? And if they're asking your availability, they're not like, I'm like, holy shit, they're asking me like if I can work,
Yeah.
And we're going through the whole thing. No one's ever heard this story before outside of like my friend group. And they then ask me, are you SAG? And I looked at them on the table, and I just went down the line, and I was like, what is SAG? And all of their heads just go, and they look at each other, and they're just like, no, pass, and they all come back to me, and someone was like, Screen Actors Guild. I was like, I should have known that, shouldn't I? They're like, yeah. I was like, thank you so much for your time, and walked out, and I was like, I was so pissed at myself, but I was also like, welcome to Hollywood. It was a good, you are green, you know nothing moment. And since then I've learned what the Screen Actors Guild is, but it was just you couldn't have written that even in a movie, because it was exactly that. So that was my first audition experience. I did not get the part.
Mm-hmm. Model goes to acting audition, that's what that was.
Exactly, yes. Model goes to acting audition, did not research anything, but yeah, it's just funny how life works.
That is funny. If that was for the right project, it might have been Precious. If it was a comedy or something, maybe they could have been aww.
Well, I actually told Jeff that story, of course, when it happened, and he was like, you should have, if you tell this story again, you should tell people that they asked you if you were sad, and then you go, no, I'm pretty happy, or that's what I hear in my head, but so if someone wants to rip that off and turn it into a series, there's your idea.
Mm-hmm. So funny. How do you take care of yourself in such a crazy industry?
Do we take care of ourselves?
Yeah.
I was like, do we actually? I could probably do a better job of it. I'm not gonna beat around the bush here. Over the last 2 years, I have my gym. I would say my routine things that I do is I need to find time for the gym. I've worked out the least amount I have in the last 12 years in the last 2 years because of constantly being on a set. I do still prioritize sleep. That is the only way that I'm able to take care of myself. And I limit, distractions. I really try to just, when I'm on set, obviously I will be working on 100 things. I'll be doing social media and all that stuff, but I try to prioritize what I need to do. Then once I have 3 days I will rest, I will meditate, I will stretch, I will work out, I will eat healthy, I'll do all those things, and I need more of that on an ongoing basis. But right now, I got asked to do a project in New York, and that was supposed to be doing right now, but I'm doing one in less than 2 weeks in Mexico, and I was like, I need to breathe, because I've already done 3 projects like you so far this year, and it's good to just breathe. So I think scheduling periodic breaks is important.
Yeah, especially too, I think a lot of us, because verticals are so new, we want to ride the wave. Ride the wave just in case they went away. Cause
we never know.
Yeah, us actors, a lot of us have a lack mindset, but it doesn't seem like the verticals are going away. It seems like they're just getting bigger. And we need to have an abundance mindset. The work will always be there, and prioritizing yourself is so important. And not being afraid to turn down projects, especially if it's not something you're super passionate about or feel like you need to do, if you've been working back to back and don't need the money or whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes prioritizing yourself is more important.
I think I like the way you put it, an abundance mindset. I guess I never tried to classify what that thought process was for myself, but yeah, I would call it an abundance mindset, because I've said no to way more projects than I've said yes to, substantially, and I think that in me doing that, it was either saying no because the script was god awful, or I didn't like the character or the principles that were in there, or the pay was not what I thought I was valued at, and things like that. And I guess the more you do that, you actually are coming from a place of abundance, not lack. When you're coming from a place of lack, you're like, yes, and it's like, what did I just say yes to?
Yeah. And you'd be surprised too that when you start setting those standards and living up to them, people realize that too. So then they start coming to you with projects that match your rate and that are quality. But it all starts with having that mindset around it. So
saying no is not a bad thing.
Yeah, your no's are almost more important than your yeses.
I would agree with that, and the reason I am where I am is I think because of the word no.
Yeah. When you have downtime, what do you like to do?
So I am a traveler by nature. I just hit my 40th country. I just turned 31 years old a couple days ago, and
not bad. 40 countries.
40 and 31 is not bad, and so I'm definitely a traveler. I love going and immersing myself in a culture and just experiencing. I kind of want to go to every country before I die. That's definitely
which these help with the verticals, because you're traveling kind of all over for them.
Yeah, no. I mean, did I ever think that I'd be going to Istanbul for 2 projects in January? No. But I did, and I'm talking to another place that I've never been to, potentially about going there and producing a few projects. So that's definitely one thing I do. I am a huge music fan as well. My music diversity is huge. My favorite music is country. I love country music. Do you like country?
I like pop country, not the hardcore country.
Not the deep cuts. Okay.
Like Morgan Wallen.
Morgan Wallen's okay. Yeah, that's about as twangy as you can get before you get into the deep cuts. Yeah, I would say that's around my level. I mean, I'm a huge Kenny Chesney fan and stuff like that. So that's what I grew up on. So I love going to concerts. But in the same light, I love Tosh Sultana, which is vibes.
Totally different, yeah.
Yeah, it's totally different, and I haven't been to that many concerts over the last couple of years because of these, but I'm all over the place with that. So that, and I'm a huge sports fan. Being from just outside of Boston, I'm a Red Sox, Patriots, Celtics, Bruins fan, and that's part of my religion. If I talk to my parents or my brother, that is what we talk about. We don't talk about life, we talk about that. Right. And then I also clearly just like enjoying life and, poetry or, just, I love going to the beach. I mean, I won't say which beach because I like it to be private, but, things like that.
Little things.
Yeah, just the little things.
We are coming to a close here, and I always end with Fast Risky 5, which is 5 rapid fire questions. But first, I would love for you to say, you could give one piece of advice for new actors, what would it be?
Figure out why. Have a hard I've coached models in their careers, and I've coached a lot of people in my life for different reasons, but the main thing is understand why you are doing something. And if your reason is just monetary, that is not good enough. It will run out. It will run its course, or you will feel horrible on that journey. So if you are a new actor in the space, figure out why you want to do this and have really concrete reasons as to why you're here. Because there's going to be those days that you're going to wake up, and even though you love what you do every day, you're going to not want to get out of bed that day, and you need a reason why.
Yeah, I love that. And if you can't think of a strong why, maybe it's not for you. Like, if it is just fame and money.
You can get famous and get a lot of money for doing a lot of stupid things, so, you know.
Yeah. Alright, are you ready for Fast 65?
Right.
Let's get some ASMR. You should have done that right in the mic.
Should I just... Can I do this side?
Favorite quote?
You don't ask a poet their favorite quote. Oh, this isn't going to be that fast at all. This is going to be a slow, risky five.
No, it never is.
Okay. So in my bathroom, I've lived in the same place for 5 years, and 5. And I have a mirror, and all around the mirror, along the walls and everything, I have Post-it notes that are things that I've written to myself. That are either things that came from my head, or they were things that I heard from other people, or I heard in a movie or a song or whatever. And they're little thought-provoking things. So I have so many favorite quotes, but I'll just say a couple because I can't talk your ear off all day. First one that comes to mind is, it's right next to my mirror. If it's not going to matter in 5 years, don't spend more than 5 minutes being upset about it. Don't sweat the small things in life. That is my trivial answer. I've said this on other interviews before, but that is one of my, like, if I just need to take a breath, I remember that, and then let it go. That's one of my favorite quotes, and I think we all could learn from that. Let's see, what's another one? Be careful who you share good news with and how. A lot of our lives to this point, especially in the vertical space, we get a plethora of good news a lot. You know, if you got a booking for a traditional TV series, you'd be like jumping through the walls. And I think that, you know, we've done that a lot of times with verticals, especially the more you do it. And no matter if it's a vertical booking or not, but be careful who you share like who that person is that you tell, the first person you tell. You know, I had a partner years ago, and she was a model and actress, and I came home one day and I got in a really big modeling campaign booking, and I was at her place and I told her, I was like, hey, like, I just got this huge booking. She was the first person I told, and her response was, well, when is my booking? And I was like, that's my sign to leave, you know, and then that was over. But it's one of those, it was a good reminder for me, because I didn't, like, just come up with, like, I kind of learned that principle of be careful who you share good news with through my life. So that's one. I'll do 2 more and then I'll shut up. Another one would be, if something makes you sad when it's over, it must have been pretty great while it was happening.
Aww.
I think we deal with a lot of loss in our lives, whether that's loss of people, you know, friendships, relationships, whether that's loss of things. For me, memories. Do you know Mariah Moss?
Well, through passing.
Okay, so she's an incredible person and someone that I've gotten really close with because of this space. And she, you know, she jokes with me, but it's very true. She's like, I'm deleting precious childhood memories to fill it with werewolf jargon and, you know, billionaire CEO crap. And it's true. Like, for me, and my memories god awful now. I can look at a script and memorize it like that, as I'm sure you can too, but I can't remember a lot of things from adolescence and childhood, and I swear to God it's because you lose it. But those things that do stick with you, those things that you have a hard time processing once they're gone, that means that they're pretty fantastic while you're going through them. So it's a way to celebrate loss as opposed to just feel bad about loss. And then the final one that I can see on my wall that I will say is actually something that I wrote. I'll give you, it's a poem of a poem. And that is, let yourself enjoy something for what it is, instead of not enjoying it for what it could be or couldn't be. Sometimes we just need to learn to just allow something to be what it is and love it for that, as opposed to trying to put it in a box of something that it is or it isn't. And those are my favorite quotes that came to my brain in this very moment.
No, I love that. That's beautiful. What a cute idea with the sticky notes, too.
I'll show you a picture after, but it's 5 years of memories that I have on that wall, you know?
Yeah, so beautiful. What is something everyone should watch?
I'll just say my favorite movie, Miracle. It's about the 1980 U.S. Olympic hockey team that beat the Soviet Union during the Cold War. It's a great movie that teaches you about teamwork, teaches you about unity, country, pride, something that we could probably use in our country right about now. We're so divided in so many ways, and a movie like that during the Cold War really unified our country. So that's a good movie.
Yeah. Pickles, yay or nay?
Yay.
Yay.
I like sweet and sour pickles as well. You know. I don't know if I have a favorite. I'll think of a favorite. I'll tell you after.
What is your favorite thing to do in LA? Or I guess the LA vicinity.
There's a reason why I live slightly outside of LA, and it's because I do love the beaches, and I think the beaches, the further you go south, get better and better and better. Unless you're in certain areas, they're really nice up north. But yeah, so I love going to the beach. I guess the people here are just parts of my favorite things to consume myself with, is just getting to interact with the amazing people that are here. And yeah, I'd say that.
Recent obsession.
I don't know if I have. You're gonna hate this answer, or you might like it, I don't know. I am an obsessive person. I was obsessive about finance when I was in finance and mathematics and everything. I was obsessive about bodybuilding. I was obsessive about my modeling career, and I've been obsessive about my acting career. I don't think I have, trendy obsessions. I don't have, I love, I don't know, I can't even think of some food item right now or some show right now. I don't have a lot of that. But I guess if you want to quantify a recent obsession, it would be verticals. it's acting. It's this whole space. It's but yeah.
Any final words?
Thank you for having me on. This was phenomenal.
Thank you for coming here.
I feel like we could have talked for hours.
I know. Maybe we'll have to do part 2.
Part 2 coming soon.
Bye guys. We'll see you next week.